Hello friends, welcome back into the Serene Kingdom and I'm super excited to share today's video. Today, I am hosting Friends on the Internet panel. Today, we have 5 amazing panelists joining us. Today we have Friday, Shiro, Brett, Flack, and Oreo Cakes joining us while we go over some topics and conversations talking about friends on the internet. Some of those conversations are going to be, how do you keep yourself safe on the internet? How do you balance a private life but also keep yourself open to meeting new friends on the internet? And do you think you can have real, honest connections, relationships, friendships with people that you meet on the internet? So let's get into this conversation, and I hope you guys will join me. Let's go. Hey, are y'all ready to be shown on screen?
We're ready.
No.
Yeah. Brett, did you figure out what's going on?
Yeah, we figured it out.
Okay. Is it fixed or no?
It should be working.
Okay.
I have a high five hand and everything now.
Oh my god. Okay, I'm gonna change Brett out super quickly, guys. We were having an issue with Brett's thing. But everyone say hi to the cute little panelists. Hi. Guys, I see a bunch of people coming in from everyone's community, so thank you guys so much for sharing and just being here tonight. I'm so excited. Look, well, Brett, you're not moving now, but it's something.
It's something else.
And-
If I do the other one, it's going to be constantly moving.
Oh, okay.
I know some people don't want that.
No, it's okay. Okay. Hi, everybody.
Hello.
Hey.
Are y'all excited?
Terrified.
I am. A little nervous.
I'm fixing Brett. Brett's almost fixed.
I'm the only person not shown, and I'm the most scared.
That bear does not look like someone I want to be friends with. Well, guys, I promise that Brett is friendly. I promise.
Brett, I'd give you a hug if you walked up looking like that. I'd show you some compassion, dude.
Okay, so I know that we've been yapping and we've been getting to know each other a tiny little bit, but I know I have a lot of new friends in chat who might not know everybody. So I asked you guys to come in with an introduction and maybe a fun fact. It can be about yourself or it can be a fun fact that you just randomly know. So Flack, you take the floor and go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hello. My name is Flack. I am a Twitch streamer that is just a goofy, fun-loving hippie, and that's what I play in GTA RP. Fun fact about me is I'm a licensed florist, which people usually don't
Okay.
believe, but I am. Like weddings and funerals and all that stuff. I'm a licensed florist.
See, I used to work at a flower shop and I hated getting dirt under my fingernails. I'm sorry. I know that's like
That's a
such
downfall sometimes. Yeah,
that's
that could
such
get
a
in the way.
girly
I
girl
can see
thing,
that.
but it's more like of a texture thing, you know? It
Okay.
grosses me out. But thank you, Flack, for introducing yourself.
Of course.
Over here we have the lovely Friday. Friday, do you want to introduce yourself, sweetie?
Absolutely. Hi, everyone. I'm Friday. I host the Catching Up with Cope podcast for COPE, which is the Coalition of Parents in Esports. I'm also the former president for Emerson Esports, which is a collegiate organization. So I'm still in college. That's what that is.
Yay!
But also fun fact. Okay, my favorite gum is the extra polar ice, and I bought this about a day and a half ago, and I'm almost done. So
Dang! She
That's
chews
that.
gum. I love that. Shiro, honey, if you want to go.
Okay. My name is Shiro, and I stream over on Kick. I was born in Indiana, and I'm living in Arkansas now. And I totally switched my fun fact after Serena made her comment about dirt under the fingernails because before I started streaming, I used to own my own concrete finishing business.
Oh,
and
okay.
not only did I own it, but I was a worker, you know. I went out there, I came home with dirt and concrete and probably everything underneath my fingernails. And so that's what I did before streaming. A lot of people find that crazy, but
A hardworking girly. I like to
Yes.
see it.
Yep. You know, it's cool because, you know, I'm always like, girls can't do that kind of work. Girls can't game. Girls can't do that. So I just kind of like, you know,
I've done everything.
proven everybody wrong.
Well, I'm glad that you're here, honey.
Thank you for having me. It's my first
Yeah.
panel, so I appreciate the opportunity.
Guys, this is Shiro's first panel, and she's been streaming for over 4 years now. We're just at the 4-year mark, and
4
she's
years at the
kick-ass.
end of this month. Yeah.
Yes! A bad bitch. Go ahead, Brett, and introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Brett. I stream on Twitch every Wednesday-ish, if I can. Fun fact, I have 3 bear masks.
Nice. Bear's a bear bitch.
Hence the reason, yeah.
Oreo cakes, you want to go, sweetie?
Hi, I'm Oreo Cakes. I'm actually also from Arkansas, which is cool.
Hey.
I have an obsessive problem with collecting ghost face stuff, as you guys can kind of see. I collect snow globes too. I don't know. I'm trying to think of fun facts about me. I don't know. I'm a goofy person. I play a lot of DVD, and my chat is unhinged, and I see a lot of them here today. So hi, guys.
Yes! I see a whole bunch of people from everybody's communities. Thank you guys so much for doing a quick introduction. I really, really appreciate it. It's really nice to meet you guys. Again, guys, something I'm really excited about is none of these people know each other. This is my first time throwing in basically a room together, and we're just yapping and hanging out tonight. So I hope you guys enjoyed the panel. So we are using Video Ninja tonight. So when I ask a question, they are going to be able to put a hand up, and that's how I know that's who I'm going to call on. So I'm going to start with question 1, and we're going to just kind of talk about friends on the internet, okay? Y'all ready? Let's get into it. Okay.
Let's do it.
All right. So this one's kind of for all of y'all, but again, if one of y'all doesn't want to answer, don't feel obligated to do so. Okay, so can each of you share a bit about how you first started forming friendships on the internet and online, and what boundaries you've put in place to protect yourself on the internet? I feel like that's such a good one because I feel like you got to put boundaries in place on the internet when it comes to stuff like that. No one wants to go first?
It's a loaded question. We got,
Yeah, we're
we gotta really
Layers
about
to
this.
We're getting there hard and fast. Cheryl, honey, you want to take the floor?
Okay, yeah, I'll start. So, like I said before, I really wasn't, watching streams. When I owned my concrete business, I was working 17-hour days, long days. Wasn't really on the gaming and internet scene, but I mentioned it a little bit before. I was in a bad car accident and where I couldn't work for a little over a year, and so that's what got me into watching. Well, I was scrolling Facebook one day and I found a stream. I just kind of jumped right into it. I was like, wow, what's this? This is cool. It made me start playing Fortnite on my Switch because that was the game that was being played.
On the Switch.
On a Switch. Didn't even have, didn't have a console or anything. And so, really just that was, like I said, the first community streaming wise that I ever joined, and they were very welcoming and they were always good vibes. I was going through hard times, so it kept me uplifted and just around good people. And that's kind of what got me into streaming. Like, hey, this is cool. I want to try this. And so I had made friends within that community that have followed me throughout my whole streaming career. And some of them I have met in real life. But some of the boundaries, I think, that is important, which I'm not going to say I always had because I'm like a people pleaser.
Exactly.
Yep. And so you're trying to make everyone happy, which is unrealistic and impossible. And I think it's just important to just know what you want and not be afraid to say that. You know what I mean? You can't be afraid of offending people. You got to do what's best for you, kind of. And
do you have any boundaries that you've recently added?
Yes, actually. So, and this is something as small as even with this, me and you just played the other day for our first time. That was my first time really getting to hang out with you and vibe with you on a game. And it was a lot of fun. But prior to playing, I had checked out your streams. I've seen you online. I saw you at DreamHack. I think it's important, to kind of get to know someone before you just hop into a co-stream, because I will say there has been times that I, someone's like, hey, you want to play with me? I'm like, yeah. And you don't know them that well. And you get in there and it was the most awkward and uncomfortable 3 hours of my life. I couldn't wait till the stream was ending. And yeah, so it's just you learn from your mistakes, and it's little boundaries like that, even just to make sure you're comfortable Because if you're not comfortable, then your community won't be comfortable, and that's really what it's about, is just making a safe place and a fun environment, you know?
And you got to put yourself first sometimes.
Yes.
But
Yep.
not just sometimes, all the time,
Yes.
actually. Let me
Yeah.
backtrack. Well, thank you, Shira. That was great. Does anyone else want to add on to that?
I'll say that I agree.
Yeah. Friday, you wanna go, babe?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I have like this sort of weird kind of perspective because I know a lot of people like will have gamer tags and that's how they'll be addressed. You know, they'll use their online name when they're streaming or when they're playing games with people. And for me, that's sort of how it started out because I've always gone by Friday online, and when I was streaming, it was always Friday. But there's this weird sort of blend that has happened because I'm not really a streamer anymore, but I want to pursue the industry in a professional sense. So I've had to like include like my name as well as I include like my online name. And that's something that like at the beginning was not, I wasn't really sure how I felt about that, but I really had to make the decision like I do want to go into the business side of things. So I have to get, used to using my name, at least like the name that I want to be called in the business world, which is Kath. So I've started to sort of incorporate that more into my social media, but it was this sort of decision that I had to make, going from just being known as Friday to a majority of like everybody that I know online to being called Kath. And like that's obviously not, for everyone. That's, and they can, address themselves however they want to when they go into the business world. But like that is something that I didn't even realize was going to be a thing or be a factor.
Yeah.
In this space is like having to go from Friday to Kath and like what that might be like. So yeah, it's just one of those decisions.
Yeah, I think I know a lot of people who put their real name out there, and then I know a lot of people who have fake names as well. And I feel like you have to decide what's best for you, and that's something, like you said, you have to really sit down and think about, and then when you go into the business side, sometimes you do have to use your name, and then it can get messy real quick. And I'm glad that you're taking some time to be like, what's gonna work best for me, Flack, do you want to take the next go?
I did raise my hand, but can we repeat the question purely to see if
Yes.
there's anything that hasn't been covered?
Yes,
Like, I got
absolutely.
the idea, but let's just hear one more again.
So,
Thank
question
you.
number 1 again. Can each of y'all share a little bit about how you first started forming friendships on the internet and what boundaries you've put in place to protect yourself on the internet?
Okay. So I started making friends before ever streaming. Like the Call of Duty buddies. Well, I call a couple of them but buddies, you know what I mean? And like it was such a close, cool friendship. Like they were just your boys. But I did notice when you go from gaming friends to content creator friends, it's definitely different. From just the buddies you play Call of Duty with to 50 people to thousands of people, you know what I mean? And so you do have to start putting in those boundaries, I feel like, at that moment. Like I didn't know what doxing meant. I didn't know people actually want to find my IP and hurt me and stuff like that. I didn't know these things. I got yelled at every day on stream by my buddies, like, yo, stop doing that. So I had to learn those boundaries and the risks behind it, like putting ourselves out there online. But I have to say, some of my strongest friendships and people I say family right now are my online people. I've met so many of them. Like I travel and stuff like that, so I let the closer friends and friend groups let them know like where I'm gonna be and whatnot. And I've met so many of them, and even meeting in person, like there's genuine like love and like relationships built just out here playing video games and putting ourselves on camera. But you do have to be careful. Those boundaries are very important.
Yeah, and I feel like especially when people get close to you, regardless if it's real life or on the internet, sometimes those boundaries can get into the gray area, and you need to know like when enough is enough and really just put your foot down. Oreo, you want to go, honey?
Yeah. I wanted to talk more about they were talking about their names and hiding your name. I rebranded because I had originally put my name into my Twitch name.
Okay.
And like as I was growing and getting bigger, I didn't like the idea of people knowing my real name anymore.
Yeah.
Because like I had a gamer tag that I had on my Xbox for years and years and years. And then I decided to rebrand because they're like, I don't know if I'm really comfortable with people knowing my real name. And sometimes like people that have known me that long still come in a chat and they and they pretty much, name drop me and stuff, and I'm like, hey, you can't call me that. You can't call me that. And I have to have that boundary with them and explain, like, hey, I'm not okay with that. I don't need people having that access to me. So just call me Oreo or call me Cakes or something like that.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much what I wanted to iterate on.
Yeah, no, I get that a lot. For me, one of my biggest things when it comes to boundaries is, like Shiro said earlier, I'm a huge people pleaser. So way easier said than done. I feel like all of y'all understand. But something I try to treat boundaries like flowing water, kind of like a river or an ocean or whatever you want it to be. You can set a boundary and then change it the next day. If you don't like it and you're like, nope, I'm not comfortable with this anymore, you can change it immediately. If you want to add something else to it, you can. If you want to take something away from that, you can. I have been on stream now on Twitch for 5 years now, and I was like Shiro and Flacken. I started with absolutely no boundaries. I wanted anyone and everyone to be here. And then I've started to realize, I started putting boundaries on my stream about 2.5 years ago. And a lot of that comes from my mods and close friends being like, you got to protect yourself a little bit more than that. I think just trial and error helps with boundaries as well, for sure. Sure, I see your hands up again. I don't know if you wanted to go again.
I just wanted to chime in. So when they were talking about their names and stuff, and Flack, I think, said he came from Facebook, so he might know this. Everyone knows my first and last name because of that. You know what I mean? Like, it wasn't like Twitch and Kick where people came in and had banana 425. It's you had your first and last name, and especially whenever I would visit other streams, sometimes I would be on my page that they knew me as when I joined their community, which was your first and last name on Facebook. You could click on people's profile and look at right there. And that's something that's, crazy to think about. But so, yeah, same thing with, like Oreo was saying, she has people come in that had like dropped her name. Like there are definitely people in my community that will call me by my real name, which is fine. It doesn't bug me too awful bad, but it makes you think about what you share online as yourself, as your real name. You know what I mean? You got to be careful with that because people are going to find you regardless you tell them your name or not,
Yeah. Well, and like Flax said, sometimes people be stalking you and they be trying to dox you, and people can be super crazy on the internet. For sure. Flack, I see your hand is up again. Did you want to add, or was that it?
No, I'm sorry. I guess I just forgot to put my hand down. I threw it up, and I've just been sitting here like this for 20 minutes now. I guess let me unclick that.
No, you're
all
good.
right.
Brett, I didn't see your hand go up. Do you want to add, or are you good?
Oh, I can add. Like, I've always been like, for like online friends, I've always gone through like mutuals to a degree, like from like my RL friends. Like, I've never like, I don't think it's been like a full like, oh, I've met someone on the internet and like bonded through them without like it being like a mutual of someone else.
Mm-hmm.
So that, I think that's kind of helped me with like the whole like trusting people to a degree and all that. And then like boundary wise, it's just like, if I mess with you, I'll mess with you. But if I don't, I'll give you a chance. But you ain't getting it again.
You ain't getting it again. Sometimes I feel like people can get a second chance, but sometimes one and done, baby. One and done. All right. Oreo, I see your hand is up again, honey.
Yeah, I wanted to say also, like, the biggest thing that's been the most helpful with me about setting boundaries has been the friends that I've made, and also, like, the friends that I've had become moderators. Because, like, while I can't sit there and be mean and, like, say what I need to say to somebody in chat, because I don't want to be mean and I don't want to put that face on my Twitch, my moderators will bite your head off. Like, they'll set that boundary for me at the end of the day. Like, I have a whole HR team when it comes to my stream. If we have a problem, I go and I discuss it with them, and they help me get through it. So that's definitely been a clutch with my community.
And see, I feel like that's where I'm trying to get better with my boundaries is I love my mods and I'm so grateful for them, but I feel like sometimes I put too much pressure on them to be the bad guy. But a bunch of times my mods are like, this is why we're here. We are here to help you, and we're here to be the bad guy. Because I've had to have a couple conversations with people from my community that we've had to kick or ban or just time out, and I'm like, I don't want to have these conversations, but sometimes I put my big girl panties on and I'll have them so my mods feel like they don't have to do everything. But like you said, can we get some GGs in chat for mods, because I am a pussy and I can't say stuff sometimes, so I get it.
W
Oreo.
mod.
Hell yeah. All right,
The
guys.
fake mod.
That was question number 1. Good answers, guys. Good answers. I like it. Alrighty. Y'all ready for question number 2?
Let's do it.
Okay.
Go.
So, how has having online friends impacted your mental health, creativity, or personal growth? And this is just about online friends. So have you guys noticed it impact your mental health at all, creativity, or personal growth? Flack, if you want to take it.
Yeah, it's been the most amazing thing ever, besides my kids, my wife, and everything I'm supposed to say. But like after that, like it's been the most amazingest thing. Mainly because I don't know, where I am or whatever, you're limited on the people around you. Like IRL, you're very limited. Once you go online, you literally have the world at your hands to meet like-minded people, different-minded people, and like learn and grow and have different influences, positive, some negative. You figure out how to filter that out. But you know what I mean? Like it helps to have literally the world at your fingertips. Like I'm not just friends with people in my neighborhood, my county, my state, around my side of the country. Like I have friends all over this world. And it brings so much knowledge and understanding of different people and how people see things and all that. It's just the biggest blessing in the world, for sure.
Dude, I literally got goosebumps when you said you're limited by the people around you in real life. It is so crazy. I think I have 2 or 3 people in my real life who take what I do serious. A lot of people don't take content creation serious. A lot of people don't take streaming serious. And I'm looking at all of y'all's faces right now, and all of y'all are like,
Yeah.
yep, I feel that. I get
Yeah.
that. And it's really insane to know that strangers who become friends on the internet will love you and support you more than some of your real life friends. So that was like the best thing you could have said, Flack. As much as I hate how it is, that's so true. You are limited by the people in your real life, and you got to find people who love you and support you regardless if it's in real life or on the internet. Friday, I saw you next, honey.
Yeah, so kind of to echo off of a couple things that Flack said, there is that idea that like we're all so different. And I think where I really started making online friends during COVID, and I was still in high school. And, so I was so blessed that I was able to like talk to people and like, play video games with other people and meet people even during a time when the world was shut down. And the idea that we were like, I was living in like my own bubble where I went to school. It was very closed off. And so I wasn't, meeting people who came from various backgrounds. And so when I, did start gaming and making friends online, like we had so many different perspectives on different things. And, it was so interesting to learn about people. And I think that's one of the best things that we can do is just learn different people's perspectives, because that's what makes us grow. And that's, one of the best things that you can do. And I think there was also the idea of like, our connections weren't based off this like obligation, because like I said, I was in high school. So like we all had to go to school every day and we all had to be in the same space every day. But there was this idea that like we kept coming back to playing games with each other and talking to each other online, and there was no obligation. So you knew that you were really building a genuine connection with the person that you were talking to keep coming back to them in that sort of way. And I think that was, something really important that I don't think I would have learned without online friends.
Yeah. I think my online friends have taught me to have how real friendships are supposed to be. And that might be a little bit sad to some people, but I'm like, thank you, online friends, for showing me what a real friend is. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, they show up.
They show up, they show out, and I'm so thankful for them. Brett, I saw that you were next, if you want to go.
Yeah, I think Friday said it like perfectly well too. And it's like when COVID was a whole thing, like everybody was like trapped inside to a degree. And like sometimes if you were working and your friends were working, your schedules are off put, and even like your online friends weren't fully, like there too sometimes, but like you could always like go online and see who's on, and like it's always adapted upon that, where it's like, oh, this person's on, let's see if they want to like hang out and whatnot, and then like you constantly talk and learn more about them over the time, and like you get to build that bond and whatnot.
Yeah.
And
Do you
then
feel like it has impacted your mental health at all?
definitely
Yeah. I
in the
agree. Was that it? Or no?
I had lost my
I'm so
train of
sorry
thought.
I interrupted you. I'm so
Person.
sorry.
It's fine.
Oreo, I said that you were next, honey.
Yeah, I just wanted to like point out too, like my friends like not only have like helped me in my content creation journey, they've motivated me. Like sometimes they yell at me to get out of bed because some days I don't feel like getting out of bed. They're like, no, you need to go stream, you need to do this. And like that's really helped me. But not only that, on the days where I can't get out of bed, like they're still there for me. They sit in a Discord call with me, like just silently, just existing with me. Or sometimes we sit in Discord calls and like we'll all go clean our house at the same time.
Yes,
And
body
just have that
doubling.
support. Yeah. And it's really helped me in my mental health and realize that I have people that are here for me because I don't like to go out very much. I don't leave my house. I don't do all that, but I have people that I can still be around and hang out with. And I even have a few in real life friends that even though I don't go see them all the time, we can still hop on Fortnite and hang out and have a good time. So my internet friends have definitely changed my life as compared to when I was in high school and stuff.
Yeah, like what Friday was saying, like sometimes when you're around people, it becomes almost conditioned to be their friend, but like once all those conditions are taken away and you don't see them every day, like you really get to choose your friends, and online friends you definitely get to choose, you know? Shira, I never saw your hand go up again, but do you want to add or
yeah.
you good?
I mean, really, everything they said is exactly how I feel. So I totally agree. And I just want to, double back on some of the people that I've met even before streaming, because I've streamed for 4 years, been in the streaming communities for 5 and 6 years, and there's people that I still talk to, the people that I first met in some of the communities that I still talk to every single day. And even if we don't talk every day, we can pick up right where we left off. And honestly, I've met some of the most amazing and genuine people. And I love my community so much because as much as, as you stream and you build a community, and you do make friends, just as many times as I've been told that my streams or my community has helped someone out or get through something, I don't think they realize how much they do that for me as well. Because, like Oreo Cake said, there's some days that, you know, check on your streaming friends because
Yes.
we get on camera and we put on a smile and we are asked how we are. We're good. We're good. We're good. Even if we're not. And
Period.
And I can't. I'm so thankful for my community because, like I said, they help me just as much as I help them, and we're like a little family. Like Flack said, like some of these friends have turned into family, and I've gotten the chance to meet multiple people throughout my community that I consider really good friends of mine, and it's just amazing. Like they're awesome people to have around.
I'm really glad that you've had the opportunity to meet some real life friends because
I
I got
have.
to meet
I've
some
been
too through DreamHack or TwitchCon, and it's really crazy. If you get a chance, guys, to meet your internet friends, make sure you do.
Do it.
Going back to like the mental health part of the question is, I do think a lot of my online friends have helped me with my mental health. There's one situation I can think of is when I got 4 of my wisdom teeth taken out. I did it all at once, and I was like, all right, guys, I'm gonna get my wisdom teeth taken out. I'll be back in 4 days, and one of my mods was like, you're not coming back in 4 days. And I was like, yes, I am. I am a pusher, guys, and not any crazy kind of pusher, but I push myself. I'm like, I'm gonna stream. I'm gonna be back. I did surgery. Surgery did not go well. I ended up losing filling in the bottom of my chin for 3 or 4 months. I couldn't fill. I had to like relearn how to chew and stuff again. And I didn't stream 3 or 4 days later. It probably took me about over a week. But a lot of my mods and friends hung out in voice calls with me. We chatted, we talked, and they were the only ones who touched base with me. none of my real life friends reached out. Not a lot of my family reached out. And that was one of the hardest things that I went through was wisdom teeth surgery. You know, and some of y'all might be like, that's not too crazy or anything, but I got 4 out at once and it horrible experience for me, you know? But it was really an eye-opening experience when I realized, like, growing up, you're always taught, don't talk to people on the internet, don't trust people on the internet. But it's just like, oh, well, okay, well, I go through something that was really hard and painful and rough for me. And the only people who checked on me were my internet friends, you know? So they've helped me mentally, physically. They make me drink water. They make sure I eat. Like, it's crazy. I can't take care of myself sometimes, but I'm very grateful for my internet pals. Black, I saw your hand, but I saw it went away. I don't know if you wanted to add.
No, it was just me forgetting again that you have to click it again to put it back down.
No, you're okay.
Everybody covered everything perfectly. That was amazing. What a
Oreo?
W question.
Yeah, that was good, right? Oreo, I saw you again, honey, if you want to go again.
Yeah, I just wanted to add on to the thing about like when we're sick and stuff like that, and how our communities will sit there and yell at us. Like, we need to be yelled at sometimes, honestly, because like I've been streaming this past week, and I've been like over here telling them, yeah, I think I'm sick, and they're like, well, you should go rest. I'm like, nah, I'm gonna stream. Like, you know.
And we'll be the first person to tell our other content creators and other streamers to be like, man, if you're not feeling good, take a break, take a mental health day.
Yeah.
But when it's us, nope. Oh my god,
No.
I got my COVID results live one time when I was on stream, and it was positive. And I was on stream and I did not feel good. I was like, guys, I just got my results and I'm positive. And it was just so, I'm like, dude, why do we do that to ourselves as
I remember one time
creators?
I was just sneezing over and over, and I was just sitting there apologizing and like going over here and blowing my nose. I'm like, I'm sorry, guys. And they're like, Oreo, quit streaming. Just go
Get
rest.
off
I'm
of
like,
here.
okay, bye. The next day, I didn't stream for a week after that because I
Good.
was so sick. It was so
Well,
bad.
and then I sometimes feel like we make it worse on ourselves. We make ourselves more sicker, or we drain our mental health way more sometimes. We did get a group hydration though, so make sure y'all all hydrate.
Oh, yeah, I got my water always.
Um,
Love
No one looked.
no, nums. Friday, I saw your hand again, sweetie.
So I just wanted to add to this that like you actually just said like you got a group hydration redeemed. When I was streaming, I never drank any water, and it was my friends who were, who would tune into my streams, and it was like people who were my moderators that were like, "You need a hydrate, like point redeem thing," and I was
Yeah.
like, "Wait." I was like, that's actually really smart. And so that period of time, I was the most hydrated I've ever been in my entire life.
Literally,
They
I
were
swear
like,
it.
this is what you need. They were like, we know you need this, and so they would just spam it.
I've had to put mine on a
mindlessly. And,
cooldown.
Valid. I was honestly so thankful for them for that, because I never would have done that. Like,
Yeah.
I was barely even drinking water myself, but to make it something interactive too for people, that they were like, hey, we're here and we know you haven't drank any water all day. Your community and your friends got your back. Like, that's
Yeah.
what they notice this stuff when you're streaming for like 3 hours and you haven't had any water.
You haven't watered
They
or
can
took a
see
break
that.
or done anything. You need to.
Yeah, maybe
I
we
mean,
need a point redemption thing.
I feel like I can tell on days when I stream and when I don't stream, because I feel so good on days I stream because I am drinking so much water. But when I don't stream, it'll be like 6 or 7, and I'm like, no one tell anybody, but I haven't had any water yet today. But then I'm like, why do I have a headache? Why do I feel so horrible? And it's just like, oh, well, I know the reason.
Yeah.
But guys, if y'all are listening and y'all check up on any of these content creators and streamers and you tell them to touch their toes or get water or food, thank you guys. I know it seems so simple to take care of yourselves, but when you are a content creator and you're trying to stream and read chat and play video games, I literally sometimes have no extra thoughts in my head. So thank y'all for taking care of us. All right, guys, so y'all ready for question number 3?
Do it. Let's go.
Okay. I like this one, and I want y'all to dig deep, okay? Give me some good goods, all right? So, how do y'all balance being private but also being open to making new friends on the internet? So is there certain things that it's like non-negotiable that you keep private, but like also how do you open and form connections with new people? because to make friends, I feel like you have to open up and be honest and, talk about yourself a little bit, but I feel like there's a lot that needs to be private too. Flack is first again. Take it, Flack.
This is my first thought when you're like, all right, how do you take it from here to here? My first thought is time and basically vetting. Like, I don't know if that sounds bad, but just vetting, the people in your life, because you can have people come in your chat, join your Discord, come in all your other socials, and be amazing for a week and then ghost, or then, who knows, you do one thing, that they don't like, and all of a sudden they're attacking you. So it's definitely time. Like, when it comes to furthering friendships, when it comes online, it used to be so quick. Oh my gosh, me and him said the same naughty word on Call of Duty. Now we're besties. Now it's like, you know what I mean? You got to take time to get to know people, truly feel them out. Just, you never know. Every day could be different. Like, it's like a flip of the coin. So you really just got to take your time. And you know what? Genuine friendships are more rare than it should be. So it's something that you should do right. So I think the way I differentiate is just time. Taking time to get to know everybody and seeing who they are, how they are. And if they're, if it's not to that point, I love everybody, but you don't have to be my cup of tea. But we can all just have different kinds of tea.
Period.
Like, so I definitely just take my time. Take your time with it to get to know people instead of rushing into, oh, I'm going to give them my address because they want to send me something.
Maybe get a P.O. box.
Exactly.
Shiro, I saw that you were next, honey.
Yeah, and it's kind of really what he said is really the time. You join my stream, you join my Discord, you're going to get a very, I don't know how to say it. We like to have fun, good vibes, but it's not going to be too personable. You know what I mean? We're not going to get too much into detail, and especially while live streaming, but there's people within your community that, you just click with. And I hate to say it, but like, I'm a very vibe filled type of person. Not that you can't be wrong about people, but you kind of trust your gut. You know what I mean? You know who you can kind of open up to and share with. And like he said, time, just getting to know someone just like you would in real life. You wouldn't go on a first date, meet someone at the restaurant and give them all the details right then and there. You're just gonna get to know each other. And I think that's important because I met my boyfriend through streaming. You know what I mean? We lived in different states and now we live together, years later. And so I think it's just important to just take the time and get to know somebody. And just back to the first question, make sure you set your boundaries.
Period.
And like you said, Serena, what I really liked what you said, like, your boundaries can change. You might have a boundary one day and it might change a day later, a week later, a year later. I'm telling you, my streams now are nothing like they were when I very first started.
Yeah.
On, Facebook. They're completely different, whole different kind of vibe. And you're always wondering like, how's the community going to feel about that? But if they are there to support you and they love you, then you'll see who stays around.
Yeah.
That's what makes the community.
Yeah, for me, one of my big things I changed this year was changing my Discord. I had a section for anyone under 18, and then I had a Kingdom Elder chat for anyone over 18. And I finally got to the point I was like, okay, now I'm a little bit older. There's no reason for me to have any minors in any of my private settings anywhere. Chat, Discord. And again, if you're a family-friendly streamer and you keep your audience open for anyone and everyone, good for you. I'm never going to tell anyone to not do things like that. But I finally got with my mods this year and I was like, I'm done. I don't want anyone under 18 in my community or my area, so me and my mods got...
And to do that, I don't know if they have anything like on Twitch, but I know for Kick, no. Facebook, like I said, you could click on someone's profile and
everything.
How old they are, what state they're in.
Yeah.
How do you know how old someone is if there's
Twitch
no profile?
Lets you say that you have adult content, so hopefully that helps. But literally, someone can just click it. And I do have kids come in and be like, "Can you not cuss? My mom's gonna be mad." I'm like, "Get the fuck out of here! Get out of here!" But like with Discord, what we do, all of you guys who jumped into my Discord, I have it locked down. You cannot jump into my Discord and see everything. It's literally like a castle. It's the Serena Kingdom. I have to go get you. One of my royal guards has to get you. And we do say this Discord is 18 plus. If you're not 18, get out of here. Respectfully. It's more of an honor thing. I try to stalk, especially if I know someone's jumping in and I know that they're over 18. You know, I know you and I'm gonna let you in. If I don't know someone, more of an honor system type thing, but I have found out that someone had lied. They're banned and they're never allowed back, you know, so that's kind of the chance that you take. And I've had a little bit of backlash on that a little bit, but nothing too crazy. And I'm like, well, this is my stream, this is my community, this is what I'm gonna do, and this is what I want. And that was a boundary I never thought I would put in place, but I'm really glad that I did. And I think that's why I push it to all streamers. You know, like you just said, boundaries can change. And if y'all take anything from anything we say tonight, I hope that that's one of the things you remember. You can turn around tomorrow, the next day, add things, take things away. And it's so important. Oreo, I saw that you were next, baby.
Can you repeat the question?
Yes, absolutely. Before I would have it in the chat, but chat just goes so quick sometimes. Okay, so how do you handle the balance of being private while also being open to making new friends on the internet?
Okay. I know everybody has like said a lot about time, but that's like my biggest thing too. Like, and then another thing, like I'll lurk. It like a lot of the friends I make are streamers, and I'll go lurk their chat. I'll lurk and see how they interact with their community. But then another thing is like I try to game with people offline too, because I feel like sometimes people are a different person than they are on stream as compared to offline. And then also it's kind of like down the line, but I'll also hang out with them and their friends and see how they all interact together, and see if it's like a vibe that I could see myself putting myself into, because sometimes that person is good, but their friends aren't exactly the best people, and they can make you uncomfortable. So that's something that like I try to dip my toes in with too.
No, I get that. I don't want to call Brett out, but this is a great question that I just thought about. So again, how do you balance being private while also making new friends on the internet? I've known Brett for 3 years now, maybe a little bit less, maybe a little bit longer. Me and Brett and a couple other friends were just in Discord the other night, and Brett was like, we were talking about like where we were bored and stuff, and I was like, nope. I will not tell you guys. And it was friends that I'm friends with. They're very close, and I would say that they're some of my closest friends on the internet. But I've decided early on that there's going to be a lot of private information that I will not talk about. You know, if you want to tell me some personal stuff, I'll tell you some personal stuff too, but you need to know like what we're not going to talk about, you know? And I think that you're allowed to ask your friends questions. I don't want Brett to be like, damn, why is she putting me on the spot right here? Yeah. Brett, you were definitely allowed to ask me that question. But you also have to like respect your friends too when they're like, no, I'm not going to answer that, you know? And I haven't always been like that. You know, again, a people pleaser. There's a lot of little information that I would have let slip in the past, but you gotta be firm with your boundaries sometimes, even with your close friends. But even in real life, if your real life friend asks you a question, I hope that you guys have, you know, the balls to be like, nope, I don't want to answer that, or I'm uncomfortable. I don't want to say things like that. And sometimes it's hard to do that. Thank you so much for respecting my choice. I appreciate you, Tracy. Time is a big one. Being a parent, working full time, growing apart from most IRL friends, but gaining amazing internet friends. So I love that, Beard. Time is a big one. And I think what Shiro was saying earlier, the vibes have to be there. I have to be able to vibe with you. I have to know that I can trust you. And I feel like trust is such a hard thing, regardless if it's in real life or on the internet, you know? Flack, I saw you go up again. Oh, you're muted. You're muted.
No, I was like, oh wait, did I forget? I thought I forgot, but I actually raised my hand this time. I remember. It was after what Oreo said when you were talking about, you know, dipping your toes in like looking at their communities, that was a big one that I just started also dipping my toes in, like going to their discords when they're hanging out with friends in their discord and just popping in the room, because there's been times I'm like, yo, this dude is cool, dude, we vibe, and then I hop in discord, I'm like, not my people, not my people.
No. No.
You know what I mean? So that's why I raised my hand, because I was like, yo, yes, that's a big one right there, is seeing how they are with other people in their own settings. See how someone plays on home field, because that's where they're actually themselves.
Agreed. And I know Shira was talking about it earlier, but something I've recently done with collabs, I have just started sending a paragraph. This is what I expect. We're going to do push to talk deafen for raids, donos, bits, anything like that. If you want to add a little bit of conversation, I don't mind the banners, stuff like that. I stay TOS, I say a couple bad words. Is that okay with you? I've just started putting all my boundaries into one paragraph, and then I'm like, what do you guys do? Because I feel like Shiro said, it is so important to know who you're going to be collabing with, but that's a whole different conversation between just playing games with someone or if you're collabing with them. But even when you play games with people, normally my viewer day is on Fridays. I haven't been able to do it the past couple of Fridays. But on viewer days, when people jump in, especially if they're new, I've gotten to the point where I'm not going to let new people just jump into VC. And that was hard for me, because I'm like, I want new people to feel like they can be a part of my community. But it's like, I have had very hard issues with people who jump in for the very, very first time. And of course, it's just a couple bad apples who ruin it for everybody else. But if you are a content creator, you have to put some limits and boundaries. Now, if you come to my second, my third viewer day, you're nice in chat, I'll give you a chance. But now the first time, I'm like, I don't know about you. Friday, I just saw your hand go up, babe.
I kind of wanted to echo a little bit of what Oreo and Flack had said earlier, because there has been situations where someone will act a certain way towards me, and I've trusted them, would be friends, but then I would hear certain language that they would use with other people, and I would address it with them because it's not good language to be using, and then they're like, okay, but I won't use it with you, and I'm like, oh, but no, that's not, no, that doesn't mean that, and that was one of those times where I had to put that boundary down, and that was the end of that. But that was sort of one of the first experiences that I had to understand that this was someone that I trusted that I had met on the internet, and all of a sudden I found out this entire time this is how they've treated their friends, and this is how they interact with everybody but me. And the idea of, oh, but I won't say it around you, or I won't that's not the answer. And I put my boundary down there,
Yeah. Ugh, I hate that for you. Now I just want to rage. Oreo, I saw your hand go up again, honey.
I wanted to touch base back onto what she said about people and the way they're talking in other places versus with you, because we live in a cancel culture time where if that person's saying something and then you're associated with them, then it looks like you're okay with that. So that can be a thing too when you're picking people that you're friends with. If you don't know that they're like that and then they go act like that, now you're associated with them and now people think you're like that. So that's definitely a big thing. And then too, about people coming into VCs, because I do open lobbies because I play DVD, and we do open lobby days, and people complain. They're like, this would be better with comms. This would be better. I'm like, well, I don't do comms because I don't know you.
Yeah. And
this is my community. And the people that I bring into VC are the people I'm exposing my community to. And I try to say that my stream is a safe space, and I try to make sure it stays that way. So
but you can't have control over someone else.
Exactly. I can't have control over somebody else, but I can vet them as much as possible.
Yeah, and I feel like sometimes you can just never be too safe, unfortunately. And it's a job, and you don't want to put a job at risk too. Yeah, well, especially Fortnite, COD, Dead by Daylight. I mean, any game that you play with comms, there's a lot of people out there who say very, very inappropriate things. And a lot of times that people know that you're streaming, they want to try to get you banned immediately. One times I I'm not a great Fortnite player, but one time I did a box fight with viewers. I was in box fights, and this viewer seemed fine. I decided to do comms. He was totally fine until I beat his ass. The second I beat his ass, it was over, and it was very inappropriate very quickly. And you could tell he was just mad, but it's just like that can get your Twitch like banned, you know, and you can't put yourself out there like that.
I get so uncomfortable when people rage around me. Like, I don't know what to do.
Well, and it was literally like a light switch. It was crazy because he was kind, he was fine, but the second I beat his ass, immediately I was like, oh my god, how fragile is your ego? You know what I'm saying? Oh, sorry. Okay, y'all ready for question number 4? We're gonna answer this one, and then we will take a potty break, drink break, stretch break. Okay? Sound good?
All
right.
Good.
All right, question number 4. Do you feel like online relationships allow you to be more or less authentic than in-person relationships? I feel like that's a deep one. Oreo, go ahead, babe.
I feel like online relationships, I mean friendships, right? Or just,
Yeah, I mean any type of, it could be a friendship, it could be a relationship, whatever.
I feel like I can be myself more with online friends than I can in real life because I get nervous in real life. I get like, it's like when you invite guests over to your house and you have to entertain your guests because they're sitting in your house and you feel like you need to ask them if they want any water, do they want to do this, do they want to do that, are they entertained? And it feels like, or even if you're going out in public, you want to, you know, make sure that you're talking to them and they're having fun and entertained with what you're doing. But when it comes to online, you guys can be doing your own thing, or you can be doing something together, and you're vibing and you're being yourself and you're comfortable because you're in your own space. That's what I feel.
Yeah, I agree, but I feel like I could see it both ways. I wanted to see if anyone else felt different. Brett, you want to go?
I feel like it's dependent on the person you are and how comfortable you are with like online versus IRL, right? Because sometimes IRL, you to a degree can feel more attached because it's within, you can see them physically, like actually be there, right? And then online, sometimes it's a bit different because you can't see them all the time or talk to them all the time. And it's the same thing with IRL friends. Sometimes you can't hang out with them all the time and stuff like that. So like I say, I think it's dependent on how you are to online and IRL people.
Yeah, I think that's one of the best answers you could have had to that question, honestly, because I definitely think that this question could be answered differently from every single person. Cheryl, I think that you were next.
Okay, so I mean, I agree with what they said, and I'm basically gonna just restate it. I really think it just depends on your relationship with the person, whether it's online or in person. Because I will tell you right now, I've had plenty of friends in real life that I go out with, and I am not. There's family that I am around that I'm not my real self around, and I think it's, for me, has been easier to be more authentic and my real self online because these people came to me, they saw me on stream, who I am in person, who I am on stream. So my community, they love me and they support me. And like you said prior, sometimes I don't tell everyone what I do or that I create content or that I stream because they're almost not as accepting of it.
Yes.
So these people online, they accept me for everything I am because they see everything that I am right there. I show my real self. I have fun. If you like it, cool. You're a part of the Shiro fam. And if you don't,
get on out of here.
You know, and so I have met some really awesome people that I am more comfortable with sharing things with. They're my streaming friends, and even my community sometimes know more about my life than some of my family and my real friends or my IRL friends, because because they're accepting of what I do. You know what I mean? And it's harder to find that IRL than it is online with what we do for me.
It's so crazy that that's something that we can all relate with, but then there's people who are around us who are like, I want to support you and I want to love you, and then it's just like, then do it. But then they don't. I feel like a lot of it is like love languages too, and I just feel like you need to know how to love the people around you. You should know your love language, but you should know everyone else's love language. And I don't mean that in just relationships. I think you need to love your friends the way that they need to be loved. Your siblings need to be loved the way that they need to be loved. Your parents, if you have a relationship with your parents. Because there's so many ways to show up and support and show love, but then there's so many people who are only loving you how they want to be loved. And that's so stressful and so annoying sometimes.
Yeah.
I know they're trying their best, but it's just sometimes it's like, get to know me just below the surface at all, please, respectfully. Friday, I saw that you were next, honey.
I feel like for me, I'm such like an in-person sort of person. Even now, I feel like I enjoy being, like in a setting like this where we can all see each other and talk. But there is something I think about me where it's just like it's a lot easier for me just like to get along if we're like all in a room and I can like read like body language, and it's like I can like match the vibe. Like if we're not feeling it, like, you know what I'm saying? Like I can read that sort of energy a lot better than online. But I also feel like a lot of the connections that I've made with people online, I've been able to be every single like, there's just so much about my background and things that I've done in my life that, all sort of meshed together into who I am. And it's the people online who have accepted me for every single part of myself that I felt like people that I've like met in college haven't. And so I feel like those connections that I make with people online, they understand this whole world that I appreciate. And like when I talk to some people, in school, they'll never really understand that concept of meeting people online. And so it feels like there's always a part of me missing when I'm here, and when I, have to interact with these people because they don't fully 100% will see me for who I am. But it's the people online who understand like everything that I do off the internet, but they also know who I am and, when I am on the internet and things like that. So I think in that way, I think that there's an authenticity to those connections. But at the same time, I'm such an I'm so energetic in person. So it's kind of like we're weighing both sides here.
Yeah, well, I think this is a loaded question, and I feel like everyone can answer it a little bit differently, but also like I feel like on a different day you could answer differently too,
Yeah, for sure.
Flack, go ahead and take the floor.
Phone a friend. Can you repeat the question?
Yes, absolutely.
One more
I
time?
sure can. I can do that for you. Okay.
Okay.
So, do you feel like online relationships allow you to be more or less authentic than in-person relationships?
Okay. Wow, everybody pretty much covered it because I raised my hand, but then everybody, yeah. Well, with me personally though, okay, wait. So I will be quicker because obviously building relationships, you become more comfortable and open up more. So over time, I am faster to open up and be more authentic online. I think it's the comfort of being able, since you're online, it's like, if this situation is ever what I don't want it to be, I can leave. So it's easier to quickly move into that, being your goofy self and this and that, because at any moment you can be like, nope, not my vibe, disconnect, click, whatever, shut it off, I'm good. But I feel like in real life, though, maybe they get a slightly more authentic me because in real life I am more open and just goofy and dorky than I can be online. But it takes more time to get that authentic self in real life. Because a real life friend, like, yo, we got to hang out in person. I don't want to slap you in the face. Let's make sure we're really actually working out. You know what I mean? But sure enough, after a few weeks, I'll be on the bar dancing with you. It's fine. You know what I mean? But it's easier online because as soon as you feel uncomfortable with a situation, and that's the beauty of it. It's so easy to just leave it when it comes to this digital world. At any point in time, if we do not like something, if our boundary changes, like you said, and something doesn't fit that boundary, I have full capabilities to delete that out of my life. So it's way easier than in real life. It's like, damn, he's my neighbor, dude. He used to bring up my garbage can. I don't know what I'm gonna do now. I gotta get up in the morning. Jesus.
Not
it's
taking out the
definitely-
trash.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of different ways you can see that.
Yeah. Oreo, I saw you go again, babe.
Yeah, I just wanted to say, like, there's no block button for people in real life. Like, if you don't, like, match their vibe, but you're still gonna be in the same space together in real life. So it's like, you could be uncomfortable with somebody and not like them, but they also might still be in the same friend group that you have. And you can't really do anything about that. While online, like, you can go find a different friend group. You can find people that you're comfortable with. And, like, yeah, like, that's just a big thing for me. Like, that's why I'm nervous around new people in public, but once I am comfortable, I'm myself. But at first, I'm a very, like, to myself person, very quiet, because I try to catch people's vibes before I open up, because what if they think I'm weird? What if they judge me?
Yeah. No, I feel that. And for me, like, what you see on the internet is how I am in real life. I'm loud. I never shut up. If someone's quiet, I'm gonna just keep talking because I don't know how to do silence. Silence freaks me out. And like Friday said a little bit ago, it's really hard for me to know how people are actually feeling, especially on the internet. I don't get to see your face. All of you guys get to look at my face all day long, but I don't know how y'all are typing and looking in chat. And I also don't know how to read text very well when it comes to emotions. So that's why I like emotes. I like GIFs. I like to see how you're feeling because I don't know. I feel like when I grew up, I did cheerleading and pageants, and that really helped me become very vocal and help with like looking at people, the eye contact, the conversation and stuff like that. But I still really never know how people are feeling unless I can see you and hear you and feel you in real life, you know. But again, like I said, I am who I am on the internet for the most part. I burp a lot. In real life, I fart a lot, and I know that's a little TMI. I really am. I promise, guys, I am a fart girly. I cannot do it on stream. I cannot fart on stream. I cannot do it online. That is one thing that I have not brought over to stream. But other than that, I burp, I yell, I scream, I'm loud. Like,
We talked about boundaries.
yes,
that's your boundary.
yes, that is one of my boundaries. Is I literally can't fart on camera. I just cannot do it. Sorry, guys. So I do feel like online y'all get a really good authentic vibe of who Serena is. I feel like y'all don't get to see me be very serious in very certain situations like real life. Sometimes if shit happens, you have to become a serious version of yourself. And I feel like the internet hasn't really got a chance to see that. But again, that's kind of more personal, and you don't need to be too serious about things unless you're, of course, in a serious situation, you know? Never heard you scream ever. Oh, yes, you have. I yell all the time. But yeah, I don't chat. How do y'all feel? Do y'all feel like y'all are more authentic online or in person? Again, I think, like y'all said, I think it kind of depends on who the person is as well. Like my little sister and we are the two silliest little gooses you'll ever see. But if you put me with a random person, I don't know how I'm gonna act. I'm nervous. Like Oreo said, the very first time I meet you, I don't know. I'm nervous. And that's why it's hard for me to judge people on first impressions online or in person. It's like, I mean, sometimes that first impression can be too much or too little, and I totally stand behind your first impression if you have to. But I do like to give people benefit of the doubt sometimes. All right, cuties. Are y'all ready?
I think Oreo has it.
Oreo's not back.
Okay. No, that's okay. Oh, look.
Oh, yes, she is.
Dolphin
There
dived
she
into the chair.
is.
Spawn.
Excuse me.
Oreo, same.
I had to give you guys a moment.
I just made it back quicker.
I was like, I need to pee, and I'm sure that they need a moment. You guys got some snackies, some water, some bathroom breakies?
Yes, a snack. I got a snack. That's what
Yes.
Yep. Great snack.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Alrighty, guys. Y'all are smashing it. Thank you guys again for being here. All right, y'all ready for question number 5?
Yes.
Okay, so this one is either going to be a very long conversation or none of you guys have dealt with this, and I'll go over my situation because I do have a situation like this. But I'm nosy, so I just want to know if y'all have ever dealt with this, okay? So, and also if this is a conversation, if you don't want to talk about it, you don't have to, okay? Have any of y'all dealt with catfishing or friends not being who they say they are? If so, how did you deal with it? So has any of you guys dealt with someone being a catfish or lying about who they say that they are? I don't know if anyone has. Flack?
Yeah, I mean, there's been a few, people that come in and they tell you they tell you one thing, and then, as you learn, the more you learn about somebody, the more you can find out on your own too. The more they slowly tell you about themselves, you can kind of look at stuff and find out for yourself. And I think once that happens, I guess it's the short answer, because it's just like, well, that's that. You just were completely dishonest with me, and you're not who I thought you were. So then I just cut it off.
You're gone.
Immediately.
You're done. You're out of here.
It depends on what it's about. Like,
Yeah.
okay, because, there's a lot of self-conscious, people are self-conscious in this world. And if they tell me they look a certain way or this or that, and I find out it's different, like they get brave enough to go on camera, that's different. Like, you know what, man? Hey, you were insecure. I appreciate you being open and feeling safe now. But if you lie about the type of person you are, like who you are inside, and then come to find out you're not that good person then it's easy. Cut it off immediately.
Yeah.
You were dishonest, and I like the person that you said you were, not who you are.
Exactly. For me, I haven't really figured out that someone was lying to me about who they are. I've had people lie about like their age, and I found out later. I feel like you can really tell a lot of times when it's a kid pretending to be an adult. Like you are talking like a 7-year-old right now. You're out. You're gone. The only time I really have dealt with a catfish is when I found out someone was using my photos and selling my photos. If y'all did not know, I've been a content creator for like 10-15 years when it comes to like modeling and acting. And I had someone find my Facebook and was selling some of my modeling photos to some gentleman. And he actually reached out to me and he said, I know the situation's weird, but I found you through a photographer's watermark. A lot of times when you work with a photographer, they'll have a little watermark, and you can basically just go find out who that is through the company, So he reached out to this photographer and was like, hey, I've been talking to this girl, but I don't know if it's actually her. Can you confirm her identity? And this photographer was like, that is not that person. They did give them my Facebook, which that's okay because my Facebook's pretty public. When I first read the message, I was just so in shock that it had happened, and I felt so bad about it too, because apparently he had sent a decent amount of money to this person. I actually had to report it to the police. They found out that they weren't in the United States, so there wasn't much they could do internet-wise because they weren't here in America where I was reporting it. And I was like, that's so crazy that you guys can't do anything about it. Like, this guy's getting ripped off, and I felt so bad because basically I guess he was in love with that person he was talking to, but it was weird. It was like almost like an episode of Catfish, but I was living in it, and I was like, yeah, no, man, I feel really bad about that, and then trying to talk to the police about it was weird because that's right when I started getting into spicy content. So I had to tell them that, yes, I was selling some spicy content, but I wasn't selling it to this guy. I don't know. I don't know if you've ever had to tell a police officer you sell spicy content, because that was one of the strangest things I've ever had to do, because that might not be the best thing that people love, and I know it's not for everybody, but it is very strange. And I like to hear other people's like catfish stories, or if anyone has had anything similar on that. Thankfully, I skipped out on that interaction with the popo. Lucky you, Ika. Lucky you. Did anyone else have any issues with catfish or anything like that? Sure. I just saw your hand go up, babe.
I don't. Well, I hope that I've never been in that situation and not known about it. That's terrible. So I'm sorry that happened to you. And as far as like catfishing, I mean, I don't think so. I hope not. I have had several people coming into the community that hang out for a long time and get good in with the community, and then you find out they're either lying about having a spouse or having kids or like just things that like they just don't lie about. You know what I mean? That kind of just throws you off. But other than that, I don't think I've ever dealt with, to my knowledge, of someone like pretending to be like maybe a whole different person or anything.
Yeah. I had one friend who found out like their mod was like a completely different person, like not like what they looked like, but how they had acted, and that like broke my heart. Like once they had received mod powers, it was exactly like a light switch. They became very mod heavy. They were trying to ban, block, delete everybody, and it's crazy how people can be. All right, we're gonna move on to the next one. I saw Ori, your hand went up for a second, but I don't see it anymore. I don't know if you want to add.
Say, like, I've had people try to resell my content too.
Ugh.
I haven't really had anybody like, I mean, I've had a troll like take my picture and like try to bully me with
I hate
and like
that.
put a different face on it and just make it look terrible. And then I've had people like try to resell my photos, and I've had to like contact websites about that. But I haven't really been catfished per se.
Yeah. It people on the internet can be very weird, and you have to be able to protect yourself, and you have to be willing to have hard conversations sometimes, for sure. Okay, y'all ready for question number 6? Oh, why won't it let me tab out? There we go. Okay. So I don't know if any of you guys will really remember your first one, but what was your first meaningful online relationship, and how did it change your view on connecting with people on the internet? Do y'all remember like one specific thing that made you realize, oh shit, I could actually have real, honest relationships and friendships with people on the internet? Shiro, I saw you first.
One of my favorite, it was when I just started. I wasn't streaming yet. It was when I first started getting into my very first streaming community, and I mean, some of the people that I met from that community are in the chat right now, and to touch base, like we said before, like some of these friends have been my friends for the longest time, and I think not only just meeting people, but one person that I connected with and became really good friends with, they live in Australia, different time zone, and I think it was more so just every single day. And like I said, when I met this person, I was in a bad time in my life. I wasn't able to, my whole right leg was basically broken. I shattered my kneecap. I couldn't walk. My IRL friends I couldn't go anywhere, and so they were kind of just disappeared out of my life. That's what really got me into watching streams and hanging out with my people that I had met online, because I just didn't have the friends that were there in real life. And so I think meeting, the few people that I met there, and even the ones that were across the world, when I saw that they were checking in on me, hey, how are you feeling? How's physical therapy going? Are you doing okay? Just them reaching out daily and just checking on me more than my family and friends did. That's when I was like, wow, like I love these people. I love meeting people online. I have such good friendships with people that started out as complete strangers, you know what I mean? And it's not like you go out, to the grocery store and you see strangers in Walmart, but you don't just go make friends with them. They don't walk up, it's different,
Yeah.
So I really think when I very first joined my first streaming community is when I realized, oh my gosh, like this is cool. This is fun. I'm meeting people from all around the world, all around the States that are such good friends to me now, So I think that's when I realized
that it can be life-changing to have
Yeah.
friends on the internet.
Yeah.
I get it. Oreo, I saw that you were next.
Yeah. So yeah, I wanted to say that I have so many friends now online that like mean the world to me. Like I was talking about earlier, like I have like my HR group, but my HR group is also like my group of friends that we even call, like, we have a whole group of friends that we call our wives, and we always sit together and hang out, and we ask each other about our days, and we share when stuff is going good, and we share when stuff is going bad, and we just have each other to lean on. And I met those people, like, one of my best friends is Vicious, and I met her because we did a work from home job together. And we ended up connecting, and we got into Discords, and we've been friends ever since. And then I have another friend, Ren, and I met her on Facebook when I used to advertise on Facebook, and she came into the Twitch community, and then she quickly became one of my best friends too. And it's amazing the people that you meet on the internet that can end up meaning so much to you.
Again, it's it's so crazy. Before I started on Twitch, I would have laughed in your face if you would have told me I would have had online friends. I would never have believed in you. Because growing up, I was always told, don't trust the internet, don't trust people on the internet, don't meet people on the internet. That was so in my head, and it took me a long time to start gaming and start streaming. And then you're like, wow, I can actually find real human connections with some of these people on the internet, and it just makes my heart so full. Friday, I saw that you were next, honey.
I think for me, because when I made my first online friends, I was a lot younger, like in middle school. And I had like fan pages on Instagram for certain celebrities and like
Yes.
YouTubers, and like that's how I met other people, right? And so that was my entire experience of like meeting friends online until sort of the end of high school, like I had said, when COVID hit. And it was really gaming heavy. Like I met my bulk of my online friends like through Valorant, and we all started talking. And then I think the thing that really like solidified for me just like how much of a connection that you can make with people on the internet is like we were going through pivotal changes in our lives, but we were still, incorporating each other into what was going on. Like I kind of shut out from gaming for a really long period of time because I was just so locked in on college and internships and trying to apply for things, you know what I'm saying? And like it was kind of worrisome at first, like, oh, I'm not playing Valorant with these people every night, like what is that gonna look like? And over time I kind of was opened up to the idea that like it wasn't Valorant that was like connecting us. It was like truly the fact that like we had built a connection with each other. And so I think that was something that I learned through them, and I'm very thankful to know that like that playing Valorant wasn't the be all end all for our friendship, and then it was so much more than that. And I think that's how I knew like I met some amazing people who are still in my life like 4 or 5 years later.
It's so heart touching. Like, oh my god, I remember when I killed someone in Among Us and they came into my Twitch stream, and we were friends for a long time. They don't hang out on Twitch anymore. Like any streaming site, people come in and go. Some people hang out for a month, sometimes it's 3 years. But people are gonna pass in and out. But I got really close with a bunch of people during the Among Us craze, and it's really funny to think, oh, I killed that person and that's why we're friends, or that person saw me in a Fortnite lobby, or I know Oreo plays a lot of Dead by Daylight, so a lot of people find each other through Dead by Daylight, and it just it's a wild.
Make me emotional.
Wow.
I know.
No, literally.
Flack, I said that you were next.
Yeah, let me read the question again.
Yes,
Okay,
yes,
I got it.
I can.
No, I have it right here.
Okay.
I had it ready because I
Okay.
knew I would need it. Thank you. What was your first meaningful relationship? Okay, so as I said to you guys before, and people in there know, I was not a computer guy when I first did all this stuff. I still had a flip phone, and the only reason I started streaming was because my son said it would be cool. He's like, yo, it'd be cool if you played video
That's
games
so
online.
sweet.
And I was like, okay, so I just go on Xbox and hit Twitch. But I met my first online relationship was a buddy of mine, and I'm not gonna say his name because someone will like quote me and make his head swell later on, and I don't need that crap right now.
Yeah.
But he found me on Call of Duty while I was streaming on Twitch with one viewer, and he was my second viewer, and to this day he's been in every single stream for the last 5 years. But like he was like, wait, you're streaming? And he became my friend mainly because he hated me and I hated him at first.
Nice.
Because we had like banter back and forth on opposing teams. But then we were like, wait a minute, we keep up with each other. Like this is actually kind of fun to talk crap. But he showed me what Discord was. he showed me what Twitch was online. He showed me what a PC was. I thought it was stuff I did schoolwork on. I didn't I didn't know anything about content. I learned that there's more microphones than the one on my headset. Like, that's new. Now I got this thing. That's really cool. But my first online relationship is still my best friend, my brother. That I love this man, like, love him, and that's just my experience with the first relationship. It's still my longest lasting and my best friend to this day. And I wouldn't be right here. This is the part I don't want him to know. I wouldn't be here doing this if it wasn't for that man taking the time to kind of teach me and show me.
Yeah. I feel like there's a bunch of us who all have a friend who really sat down and was like, this is Discord, this is stream, this is Twitch, unless like you really took the time to educate yourself about it, which if you did that, I love that for you. Sometimes I wish I could go back in time and like actually sit down and educate myself. I did the same thing you did. I said, I'm going live, I ain't learning shit. And that's just how it has happened, I'm sure I saw your hand go back up.
Yeah, just to touch base on like someone to sit you down and teach you, that was exactly everything I know now is what I learned with joining in the streaming community. There were so many communities that they'd go in and it's like, join my Discord, and I'm like, what is Discord? What is that?
What is that?
It's such a good way to connect to and keep everybody in one place. So yeah, that's how I learned about it, was just seeing it in other communities and stuff.
Yeah, for me, I can't think of like one specific person. There's one person, Panda, who's one of my mods. I did know them in real life, but not too well. They live close to me. We bonded over trauma. Actually, we love trauma. We love drama. But they actually, taught, like Flax said, they helped with Discord, they helped with stream, they helped me. I didn't know that you had to go through and clear out your channel point redemptions and stuff like that. So once I gave them mod and they saw how many channel point redemptions I had that I had never cleaned out, they were like, Serena, you need to clean your shit out. And I'm like, I
don't even open that.
Yeah, I'm like, I'm so sorry, I didn't know. And it's just been really, like y'all said, the friends along the way, the viewers who stop in. It's crazy now. Like, I see Ika and Sweets and Sloth and Chelsea in chat right now. Tracy and Hannah are some of my closer friends. Something I've never really wanted for the Serena Kingdom was to seem too cliquey. But I really do hang out with a lot of my mods and a lot of my VIPs. But I feel like if you make these friendships and connections. Oh, Brett too. I'm so sorry, Brett. I didn't say your name a second ago.
My singular feeling is.
I love you, Brett. I appreciate you. But again, like y'all said, like I wouldn't be here without them. There's been a lot of times where I've been thinking about giving up, and I'm like, man, I just can't do it anymore. And then someone will be like, when's your next stream? What are we doing next? When are we playing games? Like they don't like make my head too big, but they make me feel seen and loved and valued like I have never been before. I've never really had a lot of girlfriends in real life who have seen me on a very personal level and who have loved me how I need to be loved. And that's why I always go back to love languages. Again, like if you don't know your love language, really think about how you want to be loved. And I know as people are online, they're like, the ones on Google don't really work, but the ones on Google can help you figure out how you need to be loved or how you need to love your loved ones. Just looking at my little siblings, like my little brother will not text you or call you. You have to go hang out with him in person. If you're someone who has to hang out with people, you have to be willing to call them or text them sometimes. Like you have to meet each other in the middle, regardless if you're siblings, friends, significant others, parents, things like that, And something I know a lot of people don't want to hear either. I know we kind of talked about this when we did the red flag panel. You have to know when you're the red flag. None of us are perfect. We are not the perfect daughter, son, cousin, boyfriend, girlfriend, significant other. A lot of us make mistakes, especially in friendships. A lot of times friendships fall apart and we're really ready to blame this other person for not being there, not showing up. But it's like, are you taking the time to text or call, send a TikTok? Are you trying to be friends with this person still? You have to be willing. We're all humans here, and you have to put in the effort to maintain any type of relationship, regardless of what it is, truly. And I think a lot of people forget that. A lot of us want so much to be loved and seen and heard, but you have to love your friends. You have to see your friends. You have to hear your friends. You have to text them. You have to call them. You have to send them memes, TikToks, whatever they need to be loved. You know, love your friends, bitches. Respectfully, love your friends, homies. Don't be afraid to tell them you love them either. I know the love word scares people, but I love my homies. I love those little bitches. I'm so grateful for them. Meet me, damn it. Send me the memes, send me the TikToks, but don't send them to me on TikTok. I never look at TikTok messages. There's way too many in there. Can't do it. But that goes back to like boundaries and stuff too, you know. Okay. All right, y'all ready for the last? Oh, wait, Brett, did you want to answer that one?
I can't think of like the first one, but I know like I have at least like 10 people I can name off the top of my head that are online friends that I can talk to if I'm ever like in need, and they can always talk to me, and they have. So like it's great to have friends like that you know, like, hey, if you message them and you're like, oh, you know, going through a tough time, might not talk too much, and they'll be like, okay, if you want to talk, I'm always here for you, and that. So
See, I feel like online homies get it too sometimes. But also that goes back to us, like we get to pick our friends on the internet, so we find a lot of people who are very similar to us, so we know how to conversate with each other. I feel like sometimes in real life situations, we don't always know how to talk to other people who are very different than us. Okay, guys, we're getting near the end. We got one more question. Okay. So, what advice would you give to someone who is looking to make more meaningful friendships on the internet? Does anyone have any thoughts or ideas, or what would you tell someone who is just like, what would you say to your younger self when you're jumping on the internet for the very first time? What advice would you give them when they want to meet real people who they want to potentially be friends with? Flack, I saw you first again.
Simple and quick. Patience. Take your time. That was a big one we talked about with so many other of these questions. That's the big one that a lot of people that aren't used to the online world, they're so quick. They want to get it done so fast. They want to do this. They want to do that. Slow down. Let the relationships come to you so you can feel them out in your own time. Don't rush through it. You're not going to make a million friends overnight. Just value the one or two real ones that you do vet and learn who they truly are.
Period. Don't fake it till you make it, Zambella. Period, baby girl. Period. Oh, goodness. I wasn't sure who's exactly next, but I think Shiro.
I mean, he basically covered it. Honestly, all the questions that we went over with tonight kind of weigh into this one. Just be careful. Know your boundaries. I think that's most important, is because when I first started, I didn't really know my boundaries. You didn't really know to set boundaries. You kind of learn that along, or I did. I learned that along the way. You know what I mean? And so I think just figuring those out would be my advice. Just like he said, be patient, feel out the vibes, and just get to know people. It takes time, and so it's not going to happen overnight. So
I like it. Oreo, I think you were next, honey.
I would say have your boundaries, but also be yourself. Being yourself is the biggest thing. But have your boundaries and do what you're comfortable with. That way, at the same time, you're gonna protect yourself too, because there's not always good people on the internet.
And they don't always hold your best intentions.
Exactly.
Brett, I think you were next.
Like Oreo said, make your boundaries. Also, like, don't act differently like you would if it were like a in-person friendship. Like, don't try to be something you're not. Try to be true to yourself as well. And yeah, like Flack said, time, because you can't rush a friendship or it's not going to work out.
Yeah. And I feel like that is good advice for in real life relationships or on the internet too, you know? I feel like you can't really rush any of that, you know? It's really hard for me when I see a cute girl and I'm like, I want to be her best friend. you know, not to call out anyone, but when I saw Oreo, Friday, and Shiro, that's my immediate thoughts on all three of them. I was like, oh my
I
god,
was so scared to talk to you.
Flack, want to do karate in my garage?
You just dressed. You were
Depends,
dressed
what's your
in the
favorite
all pink
dinosaur?
outfit and everything.
Yeah.
Like you looked so
Stegosaurus.
cute. I was like, I want to talk to her, and but I'm scared.
I want to talk to them, and I want to be their best friends, you know. But I also have to, like, my biggest thing is boundaries, of course. But I have to remember that, like, most of us are all content creators, and I'm like, okay, as much as I want to be their best friend and I want to just jump on top of them and have them play with me all the time, I need to remember that they're just meeting me for the very first time. You know, I think of us, Shira, did we play once or twice together?
That was I mean,
I can't remember if we played once or twice.
Well, you did Among Us. We did
Yes,
Among Us.
okay, so we
and
have
did
played
Fortnite.
twice.
And I think before you played in my tournament.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
we
yeah.
didn't talk much. It was
Yeah.
just more of a brief.
Yeah. But I'm like, okay, I have to let people get to know me too, because a lot of times I know I'm too much, and I put myself out there and I'm like, let's be best friends. And then, like y'all said, some of y'all have a little bit more boundaries, or some of y'all need to be like, I need to know you a little bit more before we can become best friends, you know? And I'm like, okay, I have to respect that, and I have to, like, remember to reel myself in a little bit. So it's hard when, like what you just said, Brett, be yourself, because I'm so much. I'm a lot. So I do feel like I am myself a lot of times when I meet people, but I do, like, try to hold myself back just a little bit so I never step on other people's toes or boundaries or anything, you know? But I never am completely different, if that makes any sense at all. Friday, I saw you too, honey.
Yeah, I mean, I just think echoing really what everyone said. I think being open to connecting, with people, if that's obviously something you want, and then putting that effort into. I think a lot of the times people will, you might expect that, like, the other person's gonna reach out all the time, but then you have to put that effort in as well if that's a connection that you want to build. And the idea of becoming more comfortable with voicing your needs, I also think that comes with, like, self-acceptance. And I think, sometimes for a lot of people it's really easy for them to sort of talk about things that are going on in their life at, like, a deeper level with someone they just met. And, like, that's great. That's awesome. Like, you're opening up to someone else, but at the same time, like, there's still aspects like, what might seem more simple. Like, if you get frustrated in a game, you get all, upset, just being able to be like, hey, like, I'm sorry, I just got upset, like, this and that happened in the game. Even just, like, learning to accept that that's something that happened with yourself, and that, like, you're in a moment with another person. That coming to terms with, like, that part of yourself, I think is important when you bring all of you to a friendship with someone else. And that's just as important as being able to open up about things in your life. So
that was perfectly worded. I love that. Like, I think, just to go off of yours a little bit, being able to say you're sorry is a big one.
yeah.
I feel like a lot of times people struggle with that. I mean, me too. I mean, I never want to be wrong, and I never want to hurt my friends' feelings.
Yeah.
Tracy, I'm calling Tracy out. Sorry, Tracy. trying to call you out. But we were just talking about it the other day. She was like, we were talking about how we have become friends and how we're getting closer and stuff. And she was like, if I ever did something, I would want you to tell me if I overstepped or if I hurt your feelings. And she had said that she had did that to Ika, actually. Sorry, Ika, calling you out too, And she was like, me and Ika talked about it and we worked it out. And that just really shows, like, how she sees Ika. She sees Ika as a real friend, and she let him know, hey, whatever you did hurt my feelings, or it was too much. And they were able to have a conversation about it and fix it, And I think that's super important. Like, no one wants to hear, or no one wants to get a message being like, hey, dude, what you said or what you did hurt my feelings. Like, no one wants to see that. But if you really genuinely care about the person who's sending you that message, you need to sit down and be like, even if you didn't mean to. And I hate the apologies of like, sorry, I didn't mean to. Well, you don't really get to pick or choose if you hurt someone's feelings, you know? If you hurt someone's feelings at the bottom line, you hurt their feelings, you know? So you can say, sorry, I didn't mean to, but I appreciate you reaching out. I'm gonna work on changing this. And I know some people can't change immediately, but there's definitely things you can work on, you can fix. And like y'all said, that there's just some things that are boundaries, and if someone can't fix it immediately, then you're done, you know? I'm sorry, Chase. I didn't mean to call you out. But I cared enough to let him know that it hurt me a little bit and was scary, but it worked out in the end. And I feel like I can tell him anything judgment free. And that's a big one, is in any type of relationship that you have. Life is so scary, but you need to have people in your life that you can trust, that you can talk to, and not just for your good days. Like Oreo said earlier, she has people in her community, and I'm sure everyone else does, that you can go with the best thing ever, but you can also go to them with the worst thing too. It's so important to have people hug you and put a band-aid on you, but those people need to love you and celebrate your wins too. You can't have wins without losses, and you can't have losses without wins. But for me, like, what advice I would give to someone to looking to making more meaningful friendships on the internet, I think everyone pretty much touched base. Be honest with yourself. What are you wanting with friendships on the internet? Time, but that's time for all relationships. Being honest with yourself. And like my biggest thing is just knowing when you're in the wrong, and being able to apologize. I appreciate when my friends open up. If you need to talk, let's hear it. Let's be an open ear. Yes, I totally agree, Wizard. One thing I'm going to say on top of that, as a content creator and a streamer, I love talking about mental health. I have a bunch of commands that will, wherever you are, they will lead you to help immediately. But something I don't do on stream that is a boundary for me is I don't trauma dump a lot. Now, if I'm doing a specific stream that is heavy or hard or a deep conversation, I'll have it in the pinned comment. I'll have it in the go live notification. I am here to be a content creator. I'm here to be funny and silly, and just to show love to people, which I know that that's not what life is 24/7. It's just not rainbows and buttercups and cupcakes, and it would be silly to think that it is. But my friends do know that they can talk to me when they want to, but you also have to be willing to tell your friends, I'm sorry that you're struggling. I also do not have the spoons or the capacity to talk to you. And I know that that's really hard sometimes to do, but you have to have boundaries in certain situations too. I've had a lot of people come into chat and say things, and I'm just like, I'm very sorry, I cannot help you and I cannot talk about this, but I can give you links or stuff like this. And I know conversations like that are very, very hard, because then it's like, oh, well, then you're not my friend. But that's not always the case. Your friends are not your therapists. They're not your doctors. And sometimes your friends just might not know what to say. And so as much as I love my friends, regardless if they're in real life friends or internet friends, a lot of times I don't know what to say in certain situations. So I do step back a lot. But if a friend really does need me, I do try my best to be there. 1,000% thank you. I saw someone put their hand up, but I didn't see who it was, but I don't see it anymore, so I don't know.
I put it up for a second. I was
Okay.
gonna go when you were saying, when we were talking about, learning how to say sorry, when you're wrong. Also, and I'm speaking to myself here so much. Learn how to tell people when they've hurt your feelings, because sometimes they really didn't mean to, and they did not know that they did. You know what I mean? There's so many times that, you know, people or even myself will get offended at things, and whoever was the one to offend probably has no idea, you know what I mean? With some situations, but also, so I just wanted to touch base on that. Yes, learn to say sorry, but also learn to speak up and say, hey, that hurt my feelings, or I don't feel comfortable with that.
Mhm.
You broke
And
my
it,
boundary, vice versa,
and when you're starting to do it, you don't have to be firm. You don't have to call them
Right.
out there right then and there. If you have the
Yeah.
balls to do so and you're ready and you're good to go and you can be like, yo, no, that's not good. That hurt my feeling. That crossed my boundary. Good for you. I will pat yourself on the back. You know what I'm saying? But it's okay to, finish the game. Take a second, take a pause,
Yeah.
feel your emotions, and then say something. Because situations like that are hard, and I don't even know how to handle them sometimes.
Yeah.
Oreo, I saw that you put your hand up again.
Yeah, I wanted to second that too. It's like knowing when like you're wrong, but also knowing when the other person is wrong too. It's like you might have been wrong and you need to apologize, but the way they handled that situation could have been wrong too, and they might have hurt your feelings too. And it's kind of goes along the lines of two wrongs don't make a right.
I feel like
And
that
it's just-
happens so much too. A lot of
Mhm.
times when a friendship breaks up, it's almost always both people. And both people ain't gonna say that. That's just how it is. And of course, this goes back to you don't want to be wrong. You don't want to see what you weren't doing. And sometimes you don't, like Shiro just said, sometimes you offend someone without even knowing it. So this person who is doing something bad in return for that, you think it's just their bad behavior, but you don't know what's going on in your world, their world. Y'all are not on the same conversation. And that's why words are important. If you can't call them, if you can't verbally use your words, you can text, you can send a Discord message. Trying to be on the same page with someone will open up a window of conversation that you might not fully understand what's going on, Stating when someone hurt your feelings, I feel like that is a boss mode for recovering people pleasers.
Yes.
You're not. Where's the lie? Where's the lie, Kinks? Where's the lie? Because you're not wrong. But honestly, that is good advice for someone who's trying to make any type of relationship. God, I don't know. I don't even know how to tell y'all to do it because it's hard for me to do it. It's hard to call people out on their behavior. But if you genuinely really like this person and they're your friend, it's worth at least trying to say how you feel. If you didn't care for this person, if they weren't your friend or however they are to relationship wise, then it probably wouldn't really have hurt you, honestly, and you probably would have just moved on. So just starting a conversation, just do it. That's a good one. I'll remember that next time, and then I'll go to bed and I'll cry about it and not actually do it. I'm just kidding. I don't know. I will say streaming has helped me get a little bit of a backbone. Truly, I do think I am better about calling people out sometimes and letting people know when a boundary is crossed. But sometimes when it's a really close friend, sometimes that hits a little bit harder and you don't want to lose a close friend. And that's hard. Did anyone want to add on to that? Oreo, honey?
Sometimes you hang on to people because it's easier than going through losing them.
Period. That's why would you say that? That was so hurtful. But you
Drop the mic.
Where's the
That
lie
is
of
so
that
real.
either?
Quick,
Yeah.
someone say something
Might
funny.
have some experience.
Someone start laughing. Keep going.
Oh God. When it's a close friend, it's also difficult to find a way to approach a situation, but at the same time, you have to look out for yourself. Why would you say that? I'm so. I love that she said it. I'm so
I'm reading
sorry
the
if it came off rude. Thanks, Oreo. Gonna go cry now. That needs to be like on a book somewhere or a poem or something. It is important to let go of people when they're toxic or when their lifestyle doesn't align with yours. Something Friday said earlier, like a friend was saying something that she didn't like to other people, and they were like, no, I just won't say it around you. But it's just like, that's a lifestyle I'm not cool with, I'm not down with, and I'm gonna go ahead and head on out, and I'm really glad that you stuck with your boundaries, and that because
Thank you.
it's hard sticking with boundaries, and especially depending on who it is. too, you know? My family can say very inappropriate things that I do not say, and it's very hard when it's family. Very hard. Because these are the people who are supposed to take care of you and love you and support you. But some of the things that they say, I'm like, God damn, motherfuckers, do you not hear how dumb and stupid you sound right now, respectfully, you know? But that's why I also feel like sometimes you get to pick your family, and I feel like I get to pick people on the internet who are my friends and my family now, you know? Because I love them and they love me, and they would not treat me like some of the people have in real life, you know? My biggest thing I go by now is that sometimes people are not meant to be in your life forever. Yep. Sad. People will be meant to bloom but may never stay. Okay, Brett, coming in here, crying. Well, chat, before I let my panelists go, did any of y'all have I could probably take 1 or 2 questions from chat if someone had a question. If not, we're probably going to start wrapping up Friends on the Internet panel. Yeah, everyone make sure you talk to a therapist or something after this. Some people are page turners, others are lessons, and those are meant to stay. I never have to find a light to see the door. Okay, period. Thank you for sharing. Thank you.
Poetry? Damn.
Yeah. Oh, Oreo started it and then you went.
We could use that fun fact about garlic now.
Garlic bread. Yeah. Someone
With
Google
cheese,
garlic
with
bread.
cheese.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, someone give us a garlic bread
cheese.
fact. As recently having to remove a friendship after 2 years that has been in my online life. It was so hard. It was depressing for several months, but now I've come to realize how toxic he was in my life. I've come out the other side stronger and with more and better friendships. That's so important. I love that. Also on the internet, when it comes to people, when you get burned once or twice, you think everyone's going to do that, and you do have to be a little bit cautious and careful after you've been burned once or twice. But my biggest advice to other people too is, I know you've been hurt, and I'm sorry that you've been hurt. I know we all have, but you can't treat people like they're that person. You have to give a brand new person the benefit of a doubt, and you have to start over completely. You can be cautious and you can be watchful of them, but you cannot treat them like shit just because you were treated like shit by someone else, you know? So Ika asked, and y'all can just put y'all's hands up if y'all want to answer this one. How do y'all deal with anniversaries of grief when it comes to the aftermath of giving up on your friendships? I'm not sure if it's hard for me because I don't really keep like the anniversaries in my head about it, but I'm just like, man, I'll look at a picture or a Snapchat sometimes and I'll be like, I used to love that bitch. And I think it's important to mourn that friendship, but it's also important to start to move past it at some point. Oh my God, no one had their hand up, and then I looked over and 4 people had their hand up. God damn. I'm so sorry. I want to say I think Flack was first again.
It don't matter to me where I was. Wait, what? How do y'all do with the anniversaries? Like you said too, like I don't ever look back. Like I couldn't tell you like times or anniversaries necessarily, but obviously we do think about things from the past, so it does pop up. So maybe that's the anniversaries. Whenever we happen to think about it, and we're like, oh damn. Really, it's just with me. I just look back and think about the lessons learned, and then the laughs and the good times or whatever. And then I just think, I hope they're doing their thing. They're great. Never wish ill upon nobody, no matter how it's split up. Never wish ill.
Period.
But I just look back think about the times that made that friendship a thing, and just wish them for the best. You know what I mean? And hope they do the same for you.
That was so sweet. Makes me want to punch you.
I mean, everybody was being poetic and shit. You know what I mean? So I thought I'd dive in.
I think Oreo was next.
I think it's important to think about, like, while it hurt at the time that, you guys, it's hurting at the time that you're not friends and you don't have that friendship anymore. But you're allowed to root for people from afar. You're allowed to be happy that they're living their life and that it's going well for them. You're allowed to, have that for them. Like, but there is still a reason you're not their friend. There is a reason why it is the way it is. But like I said, you're able to root from afar. Sorry, words are hard, but
No, it's okay.
yeah, you can root for your lost friendships from over here, Like, you can still be
From a
happy for them,
distance.
and you can still mourn that friendship. But there's a reason it's the way it is.
Brett, go ahead.
How I always looked at it is, don't be like, look at the good that happened, and like, don't be sad that it's gone, because the experience you had with them had taught you something, no matter if it was negative or positive. But you may have had good times with them, and that's what you should look back on, not the negative.
Dang, I actually hate that too, Brett. That was so good. What the heck?
My dad.
I think I'm just such a negative person. Sometimes I hold on to a lot of the negative. So when I hear y'all say that, it makes me want to work on letting things go a little bit quicker and easier. But it's hard. It's really hard to let go of that negativity sometimes. Shiro, you can go ahead, honey.
I mean, they had my thoughts already. I was one thing that I've told myself way back when, you can love from a distance. And I'm a very loving person, and I'm a people pleaser. So I'll let myself get hurt and hurt and hurt over and over and over again until I'm like, okay. And, if you and a friend or you and somebody have a falling out, I'm that type of person. It has to be something serious. It's either your choice or something serious to have, for us to have a falling out. Otherwise, it wouldn't have happened. And that doesn't mean, like they said, you have to hate that person or hold on to the negatives. And I know that Shay mentioned in the chat, some people aren't supposed to be in your life forever. Sometimes it's just a season, and that's okay. I have people that I don't speak with anymore, but I'll see their post or I'll see this, and I'm like, oh, I'm glad they're doing good. Glad they're doing this. I'm glad they're doing that. And it's, you got to decide, is it, and who's to say, this is another thing. People can change, I've grown up and matured, and maybe I'm different than I was when people didn't like me before. Not saying you always have to give a second chance. You have to find your boundaries, do what is comfortable for you, and who's to say years to come down the road you can't reconnect with somebody? You know what I mean? It doesn't mean you have to be their best friend again. It could be a, hey, how are you? I'm loving, I'm praying for you. You're on my mind. And leave it at that,
Yeah. For me, it's crazy. Like I said, I've had a couple best friends throughout my life. And when I look back, and I'm not really close with anyone through like middle school or high school anymore. We've kind of just all went separate ways. And I look at some of these girls and I'm like, we used to have slumber parties and we used to talk about being maid of honors in each other's weddings and stuff like that, And then I see their wedding pictures and then I'm like, that's crazy that like one day we thought that we would be in each other's weddings, and then that hasn't happened, And like y'all said, everything happens for a reason, and sometimes it's hard to let people go, but you have to. I know, Ika, you are really big on like anniversaries and you remember dates and times a lot. So I know that that's something that you struggle with. And I know you get really sad on certain days that have a big significance to you. And that makes sense. And I feel like that hopefully helps you mourn and remember them a little bit, because I think it's very important, like Brett said, to remember the good times. Because if they broke your heart or you broke their heart, y'all loved each other enough that at one point something was great. Something was amazing at one point, And life is hard. But one of my favorite things to remind people is it's okay to let go, but it's also so incredibly okay to cry and yell and scream and be emotional. I'm so tired of people being like, especially towards men. I hate that men don't cry, men don't have emotions, blah, 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 blah. I'm literally like, shut the fuck up. anyone and everyone can cry and yell and scream. I think it's so important to be in tune with your emotions. I'd rather someone yell, cry, scream than not know how they feel at all. Like that numb, weird feeling when you don't know your emotions or your thoughts. That's so bad for you. Mentally, physically, that's just not good at all. It makes me sad for y'all. But listen, Serena, repression is such a great way to cope. Yeah, okay. I'll just come punch you. Friday, I saw that you wanted to go, baby.
I mean, I think that there are, in certain circumstances, like there might have been a lot of good to the friendship and, some bad things. And people might make you feel like you need to be okay that the friendship ended because there were bad things and those have to outweigh the good. But like that isn't the case. Like you can absolutely mourn a friendship when there were good and bad things that kind of went into it. And I think it's the idea too that like sometimes you might feel like you're never gonna have a connection with somebody again to that level if it was an important friendship in your life. But like there have been, whether or not you've realized that there have been so many changes in your life and so many things that you've let go of and things that you've brought into your life, and so it's not at the same scale, but like you've done that, you've adjusted to that change, and it might take time, but like you are capable of continuing to foster the friendships with the people that you're already friends with and make new ones, even though this one might have fallen through, and that is okay.
You're so capable of having healthy, good relationships. You really are. But to be the person to have that, you have to start with yourself. You have to know yourself. You have to see yourself. You have to hear yourself. You have to love yourself. And then you need to do that with your friends and your family and anyone else who you're having a relationship with. So important. Okay, panelists, we've hit about 2 hours. Did any of y'all want to add or say anything before I let y'all go? Ooh, I see
Yo.
Shiro. What's up, honey? Oh, sorry, Flack.
Nope, I didn't pick it fast enough. It's my fault.
Sorry. I just wanted to say, this being my first panel, I was super nervous, and within the second that I joined Discord and got to just talk to you guys a little bit about some garlic bread and whatnot, I felt super comfortable. And so, Serena, I just want to say thank you for inviting me to this and including me, and to the other panelists. Thank you guys for sharing this space and making it so awesome and fun. I appreciate you guys.
Yay! Sure, I'm so glad that I got to be your first panel podcast. It makes me so
thank
happy.
you.
And your answers were so good. You should not have been nervous at all, honey.
Thank you.
Of course. Flack, the floor is yours now.
I was purely gonna go into the garlic bread thing. That was it. Like I was wondering if anybody got a fact yet, because I didn't want to be on my phone. I was
I
scared.
didn't want to look
So,
it up.
I didn't Google no facts, but I was wondering if anybody got a garlic bread.
Ika, can you get us a garlic bread fact, please? And thank you. A random fun fact, please, and thank you.
And it was
Ika.
amazing to meet everybody, and this was really fun. This was really cool. Really
We
cool.
all
Flack, we
Solid
met on
panel.
did mash
Twitter,
like
right?
potatoes.
Huh?
We met on Twitter, right? Is that how we
Twitter,
met each
and
other?
then DreamHack with the Among Us event, and then the Fortnite thing, and
Yeah.
so on and so forth.
Guys, Flack is super amazing. I mean, literally I could sit here and talk about all of these.
No, go ahead. No,
panelists.
just keep going what you're saying. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
do it.
But
Go
Flack
down
does a
the
lot of
list.
stuff. He'll even game with his kid a little bit here and there. They did my tournament. Great vibes. Literally will make you laugh so fucking hard. Even your first time there, I promise. So welcoming. And thank you, Flack, for being. Literally, thank you all of you guys for being interested in this. Yes, we all want garlic bread. All of us. Everyone needs garlic bread immediately. Friday, I saw that you were next, honey.
Well, now I'm just gonna say I want garlic bread, and I'm so excited to get garlic bread soon, hopefully. But also thank you to you, Serena, for inviting me to do this. I was really, really excited, and I'm so honored to talk amongst you all. And I always feel like I love panels because I get to just listen to you guys and hear what you're what I'm saying, and digest the information that you're saying, and about your life. So it's equally as fun to be here, but also to be a listener. So Thank you again.
Yeah, see, that's why I don't know if I've ever really been I've been I guess a couple. I've been like a guest on a panel or a podcast or whatever. I like hosting it because I like asking questions and just listening. Like sometimes I'll put my thoughts in there, but I just love to hear what you guys say. Okay, so Ika said in German-speaking countries, it's known as, does anyone want to try to say that?
That seems like a lot of phlegm and anger.
Knob
Yeah.
rot.
It sounds naughty. I'm not reading it. Nope, not even trying.
I'm like, I'm not gonna read
Bob
that.
on my knob, like corn on the cob.
Ain't getting me like that. No.
Garlic bread stems from Bushana. I don't even know what that is. Thank you. Which appeared in Italy around the 15th century and can be traced back to ancient Rome. I fuck with garlic bread so much. So thank you, ancient Rome. Thank you. Thank you.
The Romans did a lot.
I can go to bed happy now. I got like 3 garlic bread facts. I'm good. Like I'm sleeping now.
Oreo, I see you, honey.
I also wanted to say thank you for having me. This was also my first panel, so I've never done anything like this. So it was very fun. I know I've had a few scheduled in the past, and I had stuff going on. I'm so happy I got to make this one. I made sure I was on time and all that. And
Yes!
I had so much fun. This was really cool.
I do want to say, chat, this was the very first panel that had asked everyone to be on time 30 minutes beforehand, and we were all here. We were all ready to go. All the other panels I've done in the past, people have been like 1 or 2 minutes right before stream. I like to set 30 minutes before stream to get everyone on screen through Video Ninja. I like to have everyone warm up, talk, do a little sound test, and just to get to know each other. And like I told you guys, everyone mashed instantly, like mashed potatoes earlier, and I'm really glad that it all worked out. Well, friends, that is Friends on the Internet. My panelists did such an amazing job, and I love to just sit down and yap with others and see how other people feel about different conversations. So how do you feel like this conversation impacted you, and how do you feel about having friends on the internet? Again, guys, if y'all are enjoying my content here on YouTube, feel free to drop a like and a subscribe and check me out on Twitch. I love you guys and have a great rest of your day. XOXO.